This watch promised to last. But after 6 months of usage in forests, on mountains, through all kinds of weather, and even an endurance race, does this Garmin Enduro actually hold up? The answer kinda surprised me, and it might just change the way you think about smartwatches for extreme use. This is the unfiltered experience I've had after putting it at the center of all my adventures, training, and daily life. This is AJ Miller. For the last 6 months, I've used the Garmin Enduro 3 as my primary companion on all of my adventures. Garmin has not sent me this watch to review. I bought it with my own money. Let's rewind 6 months. Before the Enduro 3, I had the Fenix 7 Sapphire Soul Edition, a 47mm version, which had okay battery life for long-haul tracking, but nothing spectacular, at least in my opinion, and especially not compared with the Enduro 3. Compared to an Apple Watch, almost all of Garmin watches are in a different league battery-wise. Anyway, during a recent endurance race, my friend's Fenix 7 Pro 47mm version went from 100% charge down to just 15% by the end of a bright sunny day, after tracking for about 17 hours. That's the kind of battery anxiety I wanted to eliminate. I needed a solution that could give me total peace of mind, a watch that wasn't just rugged, but also 100% reliable for tracking my longest and most demanding races and adventures. When Garmin Enduro 3 hit the market, it was positioned as the endurance specialized version of the Fenix 8 line. I wasn't interested in the Fenix 8's extra smart features as a microphone or a speaker. I didn't need an Inspector Gadget watch. I wanted a tool that behaved like a classical digital watch, which is why the memory pixel screen, which is perfect in visible direct sunlight, was a huge draw for me. The flashlight was another feature I initially thought I didn't need, but now I use it constantly. Previous Enduros I didn't like that much due to their green tint and accent, and on this version it has been toned down a lot more, so I think it was acceptable and went for this watch. As another nice bonus, it was also still $300 cheaper than the Fenix 8. Could this watch really deliver? Now let's get into what really matters, how the Enduro 3 has performed over the last 6 months. I am not particularly gentle with my gear. Enduro 3 has been subject to fails, bumps, mud and scratches, and the scratch-resistant Sapphire lens has proven to be as durable as expected, coming from a Fenix 7 with a Sapphire screen as well. This watch has no visible scratches at all. There are a few minor scratches on the titanium bezel, but you'll have to look really closely to see them. The nylon strap is, in my opinion, fantastic. It is super comfortable and it is held up well even after being washed. The only significant wear is on the inner velcro from the friction of taking the watch on and off, which, if you put it on and off a bike mount as often as I do, is to be expected. I also have a TPU strap that I use for weather activities such as swimming. For those of you who are worried about the plastic casing might make the watch feel cheap, let me put that to the rest. The plastic back is, in my opinion, actually what makes it more comfortable, especially in the winter when a full titanium back can feel uncomfortably cold against your skin. I have experienced this in freezing temperatures, both when tracking classic ski and also backcountry skiing in minus 15 degrees. Overall, the build quality feels exactly what you expect from a watch in this price range. Comfort might sound superficial for someone, but if for a device you wear more or less 24/7, I think it's critical. The default nylon strap that comes with this watch is so comfortable and that I wear this about 95% of the time. Now that I have a handlebar mount and an external heart rate monitor, I don't even need it for on the wrist for cycling, which also I think is a nice bonus. My experience with the Fenix 7 taught me that you usually stick to just a few favorite watch bands, and Enduro 3's nylon band is a great primary choice. For a more urban look, I have the magnetic nylon strap from Alumu, though the metal parts add some weight to the watch, which is noticeable. You can also find plenty of third-party leather or metal bands if you want to dress it up, but for me, nothing beats the everyday comfort of the nylon band, and I think it's anonymous enough for it to blend into many situations. The GPS accuracy has been consistent. There were some minor inconsistencies when using it with GPS only in the forest on my previous hiking trip, but I've had the same issue on the Fenix 7, so that was expected. The preloaded topo maps have made my hikes more convenient and seamless. For day hiking, based on my testing, I don't think you need anything other than the Enduro 3 if you're following a preset course. For multi-day hikes, it is a really good companion for showing you if you are on a course, if you're following a set course though. I do prefer printed maps in conjunction with it for multi-day hikes, given that the screen size is, in my opinion, a bit too small. But if you want to, you can of course orient yourself around in the terrain by scrolling around. But always for safety purposes, I like to bring a printed maps and a physical compass as a base on almost all multi-day hikes I do. Do know that the level of detail and squinting might make it a bit inconvenient. We ended up using the map feature only when we wanted to know exactly where we were, and then we switched over to the printed maps. I also recommend for safety purposes on a multi-day hike out of cellular coverage to get a Garmin inReach Mini 2 or similar for satellite communication, to keep in touch with your loved ones and have a reliable tool for emergencies. The advanced training metrics from Garmin, training status, training readiness, recovery time has been invaluable when preparing for my 515-kilometer endurance cycling race and also for my upcoming mountain race. Earlier this spring, I let Garmin create a training plan for my endurance race, and it gave me a program to follow. I also learned how to use acute load to see if my training was productive and how to maintain my fitness post-race. I also got to know the endurance score a lot better, and this will be very useful this fall to maintain my endurance shape until the next season. The activity I track the most is definitely cycling, with road biking and spinning being the most used. On the road, the Enduro 3 works more or less as a bike computer in practice. I have stated in my video about that experience that it is fine for longer, more predictable stretches of roads in terms of navigation, but it will need something larger for urban environments, such as a Garmin GPS or even your phone. The fact that you can just mount your watch to the handlebar is, in my opinion, a huge plus, and it is faster than looking up from your arm and looking at the watch, and it's also a more safe practice. If you're not using an external heart rate sensor, you might experience that the built-in sensor lags behind your variations in heart rate and suddenly snaps to your elevated heart rate. For example, in a climb. An external heart rate sensor is much more accurate and really useful tool for having a more precise knowledge of what heart rate zones you actually are in. This has been especially useful when doing long-haul Zone 2 trips, in preparations for my endurance cycling trip. For strength training, the Enduro 3's interface is now a lot more useful than ever. It is quite easy to correct the number of repetitions per set and the amount of weight. What I really like is when you have set a goal in your Garmin Connect with the training plan, Garmin will give you relevant strength exercises with an animation on the screen, which is a lot better for knowing exactly how that exercise is performed. But I had Garmin Connect make me a training program based on it. It has introduced me to new training routines and exercises at the gym that I will definitely try out in the future. The LED flashlight is a feature I never knew I needed, and now I can't live without. It is surprisingly bright, adjustable, and incredibly inconvenient. Whether it's finding something in the dark on a hiking trip or just taking a quick look around without pulling out a phone, I use it almost daily. It is one of those small features that makes a huge difference. On my last hiking trip, I used it in a cabin without electricity to see the status of the water we were boiling, and to take a last look at our bedroom to see if we had forgotten anything when we were leaving. The fact that I also have a red LED for situations where you don't want to tamper with your night vision is great too. The Enduro 3 also has features that many other watches have, but I really love this and use them almost on a daily basis. Garmin Pay is a feature I use almost all the time, and I now pay with my physical card maybe once or twice per year. I also use the countdown timer a lot for cooking, and I'm happy to see that the interface has gotten a little bit of an overhaul. And now over to my favorite feature and probably the most boring too, the battery life. While Garmin's claims of 90 days in smartwatch mode are likely based upon lab-like settings, my real-world use has been impressive. As a very active user, tracking workouts almost daily using maps, the flashlight on a daily basis, and sometimes music playback from the watch, I get about 2 weeks of battery life. On a multi-day hike with a lot of sunlight and moderate map use, in satellite mode set to GPS only, I saw about 10% battery drain over a tracking length of 8 hours. This is the battery life I missed on Fenix 7 and I almost had on the Instinct 2 Solar. You can of course charge it with a power bank if you have another watch with not the same battery life as Enduro 3, but the convenience of an ultra-long battery life leaves you with more to spare for your other electronic devices, such as your phone or satellite communicator. But it's not all sunshine and perfect GPS signals. No watch is perfect, and after 6 months of use, I found a few challenges with the watch. It's a large watch, so it's not for everyone. Thanks to the lightweight nylon strap, it doesn't feel overly heavy as what it could have been, being a 51mm large watch, and it actually weighs only 63 grams. It can also occasionally snag on your jacket sleeves, but I think this is a minor issue. Due to the size of the watch and the width of the watch band, you will notice it once you change the strap to anything else than the nylon strap. I'm using the nylon strap about 95% of the time, so this is fine. With an external heart rate sensor, I don't need to watch the nylon strap after a high-intensity workout sessions, and also the price of this watch is high. It is a significant investment. But I do think you essentially are buying multiple devices into one. You're buying a health tracker, a training tool, a hiking GPS, a bike computer, a flashlight, a music player for running or podcasts, and you have to decide if this value proposition works for you. While you rarely need to charge it, it takes a while to get to 100% battery, but this is just a minor nitpick, given how long it lasts and the fact that charging it is as rare as every second week. All in all, after 6 months, the Garmin Enduro 3 has truly lived up to my expectations. I think it's more than a watch. It is a partner that has transformed my race training. I no longer worry about running out of battery. I feel safer on unknown trails following a set course, and I have a better control and insight of my training status as well as my overall endurance. I now know what it takes to train for the next season thanks to the acute load metric. The Garmin Enduro 3 has proven it is the right tool is an investment in your passion. This watch has given me the freedom, the confidence and the ability to further explore endurance cycling longer than I thought possible. So is the Garmin Enduro 3 for you? A resounding yes if you are an ultra runner, an endurance cyclist, a frequent hiker, a multi-sport athlete, or you just needs or wants the maximum battery life in a sport watch. It's also for those who think the Fenix 8 is too expensive or has features they don't really need. If you find the price of the Enduro 3 too high, you get a lot of the same features with the Garmin Instinct 3, with a few exceptions. The major difference being the screen, where the Enduro 3 has full topo active maps and the Instinct 3 only can follow a breadcrumb trail. The design of the Instinct 3 is not for everyone either. If you want many of the same features but in a more sleeker package and different sizes, you can also opt for the older Fenix 7 Pro series. And I think that is the biggest competitor to the Enduro 3, as I don't think there's a very big difference between the two, and it's also cheaper and comes in different sizes. Of course, you're getting less battery life and don't get the new features anymore, but I think it is a very good option anyways. And if you have an Enduro, what are your thoughts? Leave your comments below, I love reading and responding to them. If you like this video, consider subscribing and hit that like button, it really helps me out. And thanks for watching. This is my first face-based video, so this whole process is work in progress, so if you have any comments regarding that, please leave that below, and I'll see you in the next one.